Hi everyone. I just wanted to give you an update on some things that I'm going to be planting today. So I've got a few plants that I want to get in the ground before we have some friends coming over hosting a baby shower here at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to try to get these in the ground. It's about noon right now. But I've got a Olympic Fire mountain laurel that I'm going to put over by the little balcony outside of our library where I dug up that holly bush the other day. So this is a native plant to the eastern US. It will get to be about 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide. It is a shade loving plant. It does like a lot of water though, so you do have to keep the soil pretty well watered and very moist. But when this blooms, it comes on with these red clusters of kind of tight little buds, and then they open to this really interesting kind of architectural, kind of almost like a hexagonal shaped cup that will be like a true kind of vibrant pink. So you get the red and the pink together. It's so pretty. There are a lot of different varieties, different colors. My mom had one at the house I grew up in Brentwood in Middle Tennessee. And for some reason, it just did not like the climate in Middle Tennessee. It was so pretty. It was white and pink, not the red and pink like this one will be. But it just didn't, I don't know if it was the humidity or what. And then my mom said that eventually the garden centers in the area stopped carrying them. So hopefully it will like the climate here, because they do grow in kind of the mountains of North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. So I'm hoping that the cooler climate here with the less humidity will work for this plant. So I'm excited to get this one in the ground. Unfortunately, that area over there, the soil kind of always stays wet and moist, and so I'm hoping it's not going to be too much upkeep because we don't have an irrigation system to that area yet. The other thing I'm going to plant is this Orange Dream Japanese maple. That is actually going to go right here between our two dining room windows. This will get to be about 8 to 9 feet tall and about 6 feet wide, and is going to really fill in this space beautifully. Japanese maples are so wonderful because some of them take full sun, they take part sun, they take shade, they kind of take everything. And they don't have an invasive root system, which is really important. The tree that used to be here, for those of you that have been to our house when we kind of first moved in, will remember there was a big tree kind of right here at the corner outside of the courtyard and the dining room, and the root system was very invasive, and we were really starting to get concerned that it was going to affect our foundation, and it was also growing up and encroaching into the house, so we took that down, and now that's where we kind of planted in its space. That's where we planted the Satomi dogwood for Owen. So I wanted something to kind of fill in this space that was going to take the kind of the part sun. It's a little more shaded here. A lot of the plants I really like full sun. So, but these Japanese maples are a great option for that area. So this is hardy zones 5 through 8, I believe. And it comes on, I believe, when it first blooms, or when the leaves first come out, they come out red, and then they turn to this beautiful chartreuse. You can see there's some pink in the leaves right there. And then in the fall, this will get to be beautiful, bright, golden, yellow and orange, and give a lot of interest in this area. Oh, I forgot to say the mountain laurel is hardy zones 4 through 9. So then the next thing I've got are these beautiful two Black Lace Elderberries. They are full sun loving, and they will get to be huge. They'll get to be 8 to 10 feet tall and about 8 feet wide. So they really need a large space. You have to plan ahead for that space, but they just have these, oh, look at these beautiful little kind of pale pink clusters. on them. They are just so pretty, and they just have such an interesting texture, and you get kind of some brighter green mixed in with this really kind of dark blackish purple leaf. So those are going to go on the side of the house where I dug up the 3 rhododendron plants, and then they will be next to some oak leaf hydrangeas that are on the side of the house. So those are going to be really pretty. So I wanted to give you an update. We got the Black Lace Elderberry here in the ground. I had to move the hole over a little bit, so I ended up kind of backfilling the hole next to it from where the rhododendrons were to kind of bring it a little further over. So my goal is to have it grow up big here on the side of the house, and then try to obscure the AC units here. So Andrew and I were just talking about how eventually we would like to be able to kind of come in and create, kind of take out all the grass along here and fill it in with plants and everything, and kind of make a nice bed area here and try to cover up these AC units so they're not as visible. So we've got one Black Lace Elderberry there, and then we've got the other one here. Again, I also had to move the hole from where the rhododendron was planted, but you can see we've got a big oak leaf hydrangea there. We've got another one here, and then the Black Lace Elderberries on either side of the AC units, and then another oak leaf there on the other side of the house. So I am going to move those pinky winky hydrangeas that really need some full sun, and I'm going to put them here along this back fence line that we share with our neighbors, the Perez's, and see if we can't get those pinky winkies to kind of perk up a little bit. And then I will show you what the other things look like. So I discovered this morning coming out in the garden that it looks like we definitely have a mole. There's a big hole in the ground over by the garage. So I'm not thrilled about that. So we're going to have to address that issue. But we have this area here with the hostas and the oak leaf hydrangea, and then the rhodies right there. And everything is so happy here. But this area, this grass in here, we need to come through and kind of delineate this area a little more, and then kind of kill back all the weeds and everything. And I think I'm going to put some sedum, some sort of ground cover here, that I can kind of just plant it and forget about it, which is really sedum. So I'm going to do that. And then we planted the Olympic Fire Mountain Laurel right there. I need to give it a good watering, but that is going to fill up that area really beautifully. That's where the holly bush used to be. The other thing that's going to be really nice is that the mountain laurel is an evergreen, so it'll always have interest right there. And then the last thing we got, Owen's dogwood is blooming, which we are really excited about, and that is just going to look really pretty. Can't wait for that to grow up and get some really big blooms on it, hopefully next year especially. But we've got the Orange Dream Japanese maple in the garden, and I got it pretty good and centered and away from the wall, I think, like it needs to be for when it grows up. And then I have some evergreens that are really interesting with a really cool variegated leaf that I want to put around it to kind of give some interest there, since the Japanese maple is deciduous, so it will die back or lose its leaves in the fall. So that's always the balance. I don't love evergreens for the most part. I always want things that are perennial or deciduous, but then, you know, in the winter, everything dies back, and then you end up with a totally empty looking yard. So finding that balance of, of seasonal things to keep the garden interesting is always going to be difficult. And then everything else is looking good. Everything that I've planted here is looking fine. We've got cicadas everywhere. They're so gross. And then I think I'm finally to the point where I can come back and cut back the daffodils, because those are done. But you can see we definitely have a mole. Look at that. Oh, mole mounds everywhere, everywhere. So we've got to get rid of that. And then I just want to show you, oh, look at my baptisia, my pink truffles baptisia. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I love it. Just love it. So that is the update for now. We'll see you later.